So it is 3 days technically before the wedding. Today's Wednesday, so it's flower receiving day. Always like the most nerve-wracking in terms of like watching the tracking to make sure that things are actually coming. But even if they were like a day late, it would obviously screw with my plans this week. But it would be fine, especially since like right now it's cool outside, so it's not like they're sitting on a truck and are going to be as hot. But so I need to prep all the buckets. I need to set all of my pampas grass outside so that it can fluff up a little bit, and so that hopefully like some of the loose bits can go ahead and fly away before I start messing with it even more. And yeah, I am feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty confident. I got like a photo from my rep of most of the florals. Some of them are coming from a separate warehouse, and so I don't have photos of those. So it'll be fun to see everything like all in one place, see it all come together. Always a little nerve-wracking, but yeah. So let's go.
Maybe wearing a black sweatshirt was a bad idea. It's all over me. All right, it's 5 p.m. The flowers just arrived. And I am going to unbox them. I'm going to pull them out. I'm going to do just quick cuts on the bottom of all the stems. I'm going to dip them in the quick dip and get them in water. I'm not going to clean the stems at all right now. My goal first is just to get them out, get them in water, and then I'll come back in an hour or two and start working on unpackaging things more and cleaning up all the stems. I did not film anything last night because it was so dark in here and it was, hard to film anything. So basically the rundown is that when I got the florals, I initially just unpackaged them, cut about an inch off of all the stems, dipped them in the quick dip, and then got them in water. Didn't take anything out of the packages, didn't really remove a lot of rubber bands, anything like that, just got them in water to begin with, let them sit for about an hour, and then I went back and started to process them. I did not get through everything. I still have some carnations. Basically, mostly what I left was the carnations, and then I didn't do anything with the eucalyptus or anything like that. That stuff's not really in packaging anyways, and I usually just kind of leave it alone until I'm ready to start breaking it down into smaller pieces anyways. And carnations are like not a big deal. They don't like their leaves definitely don't get as like slimy or wilted if they're in the water. I will still probably pull any leaves off of the ones I have today as I go through, but it's not as big of a deal. So what I did do was all 125 roses. I did my 200 peach carnations, the 12 bunches of the little bronze button mum, these little sunrise mums, and then my big bronze football mums. I did those. So today, once I do all of the fluffing, I will probably start sorting the eucalyptus a little bit. And I'm going to make sure I know for sure how many stems of each thing I have. And then I'm going to start going by my recipes, which I'll talk about in a little bit. I'm going to start I'll probably start with the reception arrangements. I'm going to take however many of each thing I need, put them all together, put them in the plastic sleeves that they came in, and then wrap them with a rubber band so that tomorrow it's all ready to go. And I'm not just like randomly grabbing out of my buckets to do the arrangements, because at least for me, what happens when I do that is the arrangements can tend to be really imbalanced. I can also forget to like use something. Whereas if I have it all already separated out, then it's all ready to go. The only thing I won't be doing is the pampas grass. That's all going to stay separate until I'm ready to use it, because it's so horribly messy, and now I see it's all over me, so that's great. But I am going to be putting together the bride's bouquet and the bridesmaids bouquets. The biggest thing that I'm not going to do today is I'm not going to cut them down to holding length. I'm going to let the stems be longer. That way tomorrow I have plenty of room for a fresh cut, and then I can put them in water again. But that way it'll save me some time tomorrow. I also kind of like doing bouquets a day ahead just so that they have time to kind of like settle into their form a little bit more, for the flowers to open up a little bit more in their actual like form. I've had pretty good success doing that. I haven't had any issues. I don't know if that's like a completely wrong and bad thing to do. But that's what I've done in the past and it's worked so far. So we're going to roll with it. Okay, I have pretty much finished sorting everything out. You can see what a mess this is. Now I'm going to take all of my extras, put them together in one bucket. I wanted to, yeah, I think I feel really confident with everything I have of extras, just in case things don't look great tomorrow. I definitely over ordered and that's okay. I don't mind bringing some flowers back home for myself. And so here are all of the flowers. Everything in plastic will be the reception arrangements. And then I think here we have all the bridesmaids bouquets. This bucket is the large arrangements. And then this is the greenery, if you can see, greenery and brownery for the large arrangements. I just didn't have room to put them all together. And then this bucket here is the bride's bouquet. Since I had a lot of these mums, I decided to go with more of the darker mums in here, just so her bouquet looks slightly different than everything else. It'll have just a little bit more of the darker color running through it. So yeah, I'm gonna start getting everything cleaned up. These are gonna go in a mostly dried arrangement. They're the only live thing that'll go in that arrangement, so that's why they're over here by themselves. And we're gonna get things cleaned up and then we can start arranging the bridal bouquets. So bouquets are all finished. I'll show you those in a little. And then I need to clean up the mess. It's like all over. I also need to prep everything for tomorrow, as far as like all my food for tomorrow and my camera gear, because not only am I doing this, I will be, you know, filming during the day as I do the florals. I'll take some photos for sure. But then I have a photo session in the evening as well. So I have to make sure I have all my photo session gear along as well. So yeah, I just did some test fits to make sure everything's going to fit in my car. I don't know what I would do if it wouldn't. I would just find a way. It's definitely going to be tight. Yeah, these flowers are all really tall and there's a lot of them, but I think I can make it work. And so yeah, I'm just going to finish doing all this stuff and get everything wrapped up, hopefully, so I can have a nice relaxing evening and get to bed on time so I can be all rested for tomorrow. But there's still a lot of work ahead. I've done all the fun stuff. Now it's just the boring cleaning everything up kind of thing. So. Well, she is full to the brim. I don't even know how I fit everything in here. It was coming really close, but we've got it all loaded up. Hopefully I don't get pulled over for having my back window obstructed. I am wearing 2 different shades of green, so hopefully that's okay. But I wanted to, you know, look the cool linen lady part. So this is the part that I hate the most. I feel sick. I feel sick to my stomach. So, great fun.
yesterday, first of all, it went really well. It was a gorgeous day. I designed everything outside, which was really nice when working with the pampas grass, because then all those little seeds just got blown away basically. So I didn't have to worry about like vacuuming the space, anything like that. It was super easy to clean up, just lovely. You might even be able to tell that I got a little bit of a sunburn. It was just a perfect day. It was a perfect day for a fall wedding. Oh my goodness, it was so lovely. My only one concern was that where I put the ceremony flowers, it was really windy, and I don't know if I actually got footage of it when it was windy, but like it was really windy, and I'm like, hopefully it's not gonna break all my flowers off. It was blowing the pampas grass around a little bit, so then I like doubly secured everything because I had like really tall ones on those arrangements. So hopefully it was fine. One of the hardest things with florals is the fact that you like leave and you just don't know what happens after you leave. Like, do they all still look good? You know, by the end of the night, were everyone's flowers falling to pieces? Hopefully not. Hopefully I did a good enough job with preservation and taking care of the flowers and things like that. So I did not walk you through at all how I make bouquets, how I make arrangements, anything like that, because I am not, one, I don't know how I do it. I don't know. And I don't, I mean, I know that they look nice, but I don't know if they're like I haven't figured out the whole like, oh, let's make like a certain shape and like actually, like I don't have those skills yet. I'm working on it. I think every time I do a wedding or I do arrangements, I get a little bit better. But for the most part, like I'm a little bit usually pressed for time. And that was the biggest thing yesterday. I was pushing the whole time. I took maybe like 10 to 15 minutes for a lunch break. And like, even then, like I was barely wrapping up by the time I wanted to be. But back to the whole designing thing. So that's why I didn't like, this isn't about like how to make bouquets or how to make arrangements. There's lots of tutorials out there. Go watch those. Look at pictures, things like that. That's the best thing I can say. That's all I've done. Like I've never gone to a class or anything like that. I have taken or I've like watched some creative live classes a long time ago. And then like watched a lot of YouTube basically. And that's like how I do what I do. And I look at Pinterest and take ideas and then I just go for it. And I'm sure I can have like lots of room to improve. But I will tell you what I did was to like try and get everything to look somewhat similar. I basically had a method to my madness, and for pretty much all of the arrangements, now we're not talking about the bouquets, but the arrangements themselves, so like the table arrangements and even the ceremony arrangements as well. Basically what I did is I started with my greenery, which was eucalyptus and mostly eucalyptus, and then some of the arrangements had beech in them as well. So if I was doing that, I would add that then as well. And then a couple pieces of the bleach pampas grass. And so I would add those first to get kind of a foundation. Then I would grab my peach carnations, which is what I had the most of. I would use those to set a base. So those I was putting in like invigorating heights throughout, just kind of like setting them in. They're going to be like the foundation basically that everything else was set upon. And then I would put in my beige carnations, leaving a couple till the end to use as like the final, like, oh, there's a hole here, I'll fill it in with this carnation. So use a couple of those carnations, and then I would move to my bronze mums. Well, actually, then I went to the smaller like button mums to put those in, again, like setting a foundation, just kind of like filling things out a little bit. Then I moved to the bronze mums, and I think it worked the best when I would alternate. I would have at least in the table arrangements, I had 5 roses and 3 mums. And so I would do a mum, a rose, a mum, a rose, and just try to like, yeah, put the mums in a way that you can see them from all angles, that they kind of like flow together. Same thing with the roses. Again, alternating heights and depths, things like that, filling it out. And then I would finish with like the smaller carnations just to kind of add some like height and like, again, just like filling things out a little bit. Trying to think if there's anything I'm missing. And then I would, finish with carnations that were left over. And then I would add any more pampas grass that I needed. I would stick a palm fan in if the arrangement if that was the plan for the arrangement. And then I would basically finish it off with the bleached bunny tail. I think it could have done without the bleached bunny tail. Like I like how it looked. I think it added to her vibe. But like at the end, I was like, man, I almost like, I feel like in some ways it took away. Because there's these like random little white things just sticking out. But for the vibe that we were going for, which was like very boho fall, I think it worked. So that's how I did it. I was able to do the small arrangements in about 10 to 15 minutes each. And then I think the medium to large arrangements took me more about 15 to 20 minutes each. And I was pushing so hard. I was pushing so hard because I'm just like, I was so worried that, yeah, that I was going to be like still cleaning up and still doing this when guests started arriving. So I was pretty much finished up at 3 p.m. and the ceremony started at 4, which is cutting it really close. By the time I was like cleaning everything up, putting my stuff away, leaving, like they had some guests that were starting to arrive, like family and close friends, things like that. So I was there from about 9:30 to 3 p.m. basically. I love working with florals. I had so much fun yesterday. Half the time I was just like, oh, this is such a dream. And it would have been better if I wouldn't have been so rushed, but that was also on me. I could have left earlier in the day. I left the house at 8. So I could have left earlier and had more time, but so yeah, I hope you enjoy watching this. I hope it's been helpful to you. Comment below, am I doing everything completely wrong? Have I made a complete mess of things? All the things. And I hope that I can, yeah, hang out with you again sometime. Hopefully you've enjoyed watching me work really hard. And thanks for watching.